Hey there, Rachel Cook here, business growth strategist for women entrepreneurs, and welcome to Uncomplicate Your Business, a weekly show where I share how you can keep things simple and strategic so that you can design success on your terms. Today, we are continuing with our Get More Clients series. This has been such a fun series to share with you over the last few weeks, some of my favorite strategies and insights in how you can start filling that client docket as quickly as possible. And today I'm really excited because I'm going to break down for you a lot of ideas. And if you've been struggling to come up with ways to start getting those clients in your business really quickly, then you're going to want to grab a pen and paper so that you can make some notes. Because I promise this will jog something, this will start something that will get you thinking about how you can take action right away in your business. So one of the things that I used to do whenever I was getting stuck in my business, wherever I was in my business, especially in the early days where I knew clients were wrapping up and I needed to bring some new people in, or I just knew I needed a boost of revenue, I would challenge myself to sit down and brainstorm at least 10 ways I could bring in new clients very quickly. So I would brainstorm 10 ways I could get new clients into my business in a week or two. And that exercise is something that really is incredibly helpful. It really challenges you to think outside of your box and get out of your way a little bit when it comes to taking real action. And this is something that I think is missing. There's a lot of advice out there about how to grow your business, but it's filled with really vague actions like build your email list or join a Facebook group or, tips and tricks and tactics that don't really make sense or get results very quickly. And so while I am a huge fan of things like building your email list and content marketing and, showing up over and over again for your community for the long haul, because that is what helps you build a business over the long term. When it comes down to getting new people in the door of your business really quickly, these strategies aren't super helpful. So that's why I've been sharing this series over the last few weeks. If you've missed any of the other episodes of Uncomplicate Your Business, I encourage you to check out the other videos on my Facebook page and catch up because this is the fourth in this series. And today we are going to talk about 25 back pocket strategies that you can implement to start bringing those clients in the door. Now, if you have been thinking to yourself, I hear you, Rach, I know I need to be focusing on getting one-on-one clients quickly. If I need to quickly infuse some cash flow in my business, that is where I should be going. But where do I find those people? Where do I find those clients? This is where that exercise I mentioned was always so helpful to me when I was starting my business, because I knew if I could come up with 10 ways to get in front of the right people that would start filling that client docket, I could just make things happen very quickly. And what's funny is I was talking in a mastermind group I'm a part of, and I'm not the only one with a strategy like this. A lot of my colleagues who have been in business for 5 or 10 years all have similar practices where when they get to a point where they're ready to take things to the next level, they're ready to make a big investment, they have a big tax bill come up, like they will do a similar exercise where they'll sit down and brainstorm as many ways as possible that they could make that revenue happen quickly. So I thought I would share the results from this brainstorm that I had with my mastermind peers and colleagues on some ways that we look at whenever we know we need to bring some revenue in the door very quickly. Okay, you ready? This is going to be great. I hope you have your pen so you can take down some notes. So I've broken these up into kind of categories because 25 is a lot of ways. But the first way I recommend is look at how you can upgrade your existing current clients. So we often overlook ways that we can deepen relationship with people who are already clients of ours. We overlook ways that we can take it to the next level. But if you start getting creative, there's a lot of ways that you could have that client work with you even more, therefore bringing more revenue into your business. So here's some ideas for you. Could you offer some one-on-one sessions for people who are currently in some sort of group program? So maybe you have a group coaching program, you have a group training program, you have an online course. Well, could you offer people a one-on-one session to go alongside that? The first time I ever launched my signature online mastermind sweet spot strategy, I actually launched it with a VIP option. So it was a VIP option that gave people 3 one-on-one coaching sessions alongside of the group program. And that was a huge move. I kind of made it without realizing how big it was going to be for my business. But out of the first group of 25 students, 10 people signed up at the VIP level. And that VIP level was an additional $1,000, but it meant an additional $10,000 in my business. That is huge. And because I was working so closely with those students going through this first round of a program, again, this was now 7 years ago, I got additional insights. I absolutely love this. If you are going through your group program, your group training, your certification, your online program, maybe for the first time, adding in a one-on-one option could be a perfect fit. It's actually going to help you make the program better because you are now really, really connecting on a much deeper level with the people who are going through the program. So how could you make this work for you? Well, you could do what I did and offer a whole VIP option. This is where you can offer them, 3 sessions, 5 sessions, a certain number of sessions where they're getting that additional support and accountability and coaching from you. If you don't have time though, and you feel like I don't have the bandwidth to offer a VIP option, you could limit it. So limit how many people could sign up for that. Or you could simply offer 1 session. So you don't need to do the whole VIP offer, but having a 1 session that they could potentially sign up for is a great back pocket strategy. In fact, this is something that I will often do for my Sweet Spot Strategy students. I will pop in about halfway towards the end of the program and say, hey guys, I've opened up a few spots for you. If you want a one-time session with me, here's how you can book it. And it's really simple. And actually, they're usually really excited because this is an opportunity to get me all to themselves and get my eyes on their work. So that could be a great option for you. You could also look at upgrading your group participants by doing a done for you component. So if you're teaching something that might be a little bit more technical or a little bit more challenging and your students are realizing that they actually need more help than they thought, that maybe this topic isn't something that is going very well DIY, then they might actually want to hire somebody or to work with you more closely to get the results that they were looking for. Often when people sign up for some sort of group program, they're looking for that in between, like the DIY, completely done it yourself versus hiring the expert. They're trying to figure out if they can make it happen on their own without having to invest at such a high level. So they've already said, yes, I need this, and I need help with this. But once they really see what's involved, there might be an opportunity to support them even further. So how could this work for you? Well, we used to run a program called Your Sweet Site. It's retired now, but it was essentially a do-it-yourself how to write and design your first basically starter website. And when we offered this, we quickly realized that we needed to create a hybrid offer for it. We had a lot of people who felt comfortable using the tutorials, and then we had some who just really were getting stuck and they wanted to be able to ask us for more support. So we turned it into a hybrid offer where we had a very systematized done for you component. If they were getting stuck or knew that they just wanted some extra help, they could get us to implement for them. The key to that, I found, was making sure that it's very, very systematized. So our students actually filled out a very, very clear form. They had a specific formats they were allowed to choose from. So this was far from custom. It wasn't a designer doing the work or a coder doing the work. We were basically working with templates, but we were implementing it for them so they wouldn't get caught. Because we had those clear systems and templates, it really allowed them to find that sweet spot between do it yourself and, hiring a high-end, more expensive designer. Another option is to just offer the complete done for you offer. So a lot of times, again, people will sign up for a do-it-yourself training program because they think, I'm not quite ready to hire somebody. I'm not there yet. But once they get in the content, once they see all that's involved, then they realize maybe an expert would actually be really helpful. How many times have you ever felt that way? Like, maybe I could design my website myself, but actually an expert would be really helpful. Maybe I could design my logo myself, but an expert would be really helpful. Maybe I could get my husband to take photos of me for my profile photos, and then you realize, nope, maybe a photographer would be really helpful. There comes a point where you just realize hiring the expert makes sense. And sometimes that doesn't happen until you're in it and understand what it really takes and start to see the time and energy you're going to save when you just invest in that help. So that could be another great upgrade for you. The final option here is to offer additional services. So scope creep can become a big problem. Have you ever felt this way? Like you're working with a client and suddenly you find yourself saying, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. And you've now added on all these additional tasks into the project you've been hired for. Well, if you're not careful, it can actually become a big problem for you. So it can become a problem where you're not getting paid what you're worth, you're way overextending yourself, and your clients are always just piling more stuff on, possibly without paying you for all that additional work. So how could you offer additional services? Well, one thing is to ask yourself, what else are they asking you for? Okay, so what else are they asking you for? What would make it even easier for those people to achieve their goals? So this is where that scope creep comes in. If they're asking you for things that are not in the initial scope of service, not in the initial agreement, then could you create a complimentary offer that fulfills that and let them know, yes, you can totally add this onto your package. This is something that anybody can do. Tend to think of, scope creep when it comes to people doing a lot of do it for you type of work, like designers, etc. But if you're a nutritionist, maybe offering a custom meal plan and a grocery shopping list would be a huge hit. If you're a professional organizer, offering to go to the Container Store and buy everything that they need to organize their pantry. If you're a professional stylist, offering to actually go and purchase all of the options for the outfits for their big event and also offering to return them. These types of complimentary offers can be a great way to make sure you're not getting caught up in scope creep, but also give them additional ways to work with you. The next idea here is creating that next step offer. So once you wrap up with your current service, your current level of service, then you might want to think about what could happen next. You've already worked so hard to get that client. Is there a next level you could offer them? I tend to think of this, especially because so many of my clients are in the health and nutrition and wellness world. We tend to think, well, once I've worked with them, I really can't do a whole lot after that. We've done all the big work. Well, really, a lot of people need ongoing support, and it's up to you to design that for them. So once you've done the big project, once you've done the big program, once you've done the big overhaul of their life, how can you continue to support them on an ongoing basis? Maybe you create a alumni only offer. You create something where you're maintaining, where you're checking in, and it's just something that you can offer those clients to make sure that you're able to continue supporting them on maybe a more hands-off basis, but still making sure that their needs are met. I hear a lot from especially designers. They tend to do this after they wrap up like a huge website project. They'll then come back and say, hey, one of the things I love to do for my website design clients is continue working with you on smaller projects that'll come up to make sure everything continues to stay nice and cohesive. So in this ongoing package, we can do social media graphics, blog post graphics, et cetera, et cetera. These type of next step offers tend to be really easy to offer to those clients because if they know, like, and trust you, they might be looking for a way to continue getting that support. So that's one thing to think about, upgrading your existing clients, no matter how you're currently working with them. Another thing I love to think about is re-engaging past clients. So think about this. Do you have a go-to service provider that you return to over and over and over again? I know I only like one person to touch my hair. Sadly, she's moving to San Francisco in a couple of weeks. I'm so incredibly sad, but I've been seeing Emily for years and I absolutely love her. I have one place I like to go to get my nails done. I have my favorite stores I go to. I have my favorite grocery stores I go to. I have the one place I take my dog to get groomed. Past clients are valuable. This is how you start building up a client base, right? So how can you start re-engaging past clients? One is to just follow up with people. I think we all tend to forget this. We tend to forget the importance of following up with past clients. And if you've ever worked with a service provider on a big project and then you never hear from them again, it's kind of awkward when then they come back with an offer. So following up with past clients is a big important piece of customer experience we should all be doing on a regular basis. You have to continue to nurture those people if you want them to come back and work with you again. So how could you follow up with your past clients? One, create a follow-up schedule. This is so simple and it's one that we often overlook. It's so easy to overlook, but you want to think about how often are you going to touch base with that client once they wrap up with you. Now, this is a quick system you can put in place, but I love to do something as simple as check in like a month after we've wrapped up, 3 months after we've wrapped up, 6 months after we've wrapped up. And these check-ins can be as simple and small as a quick email or I was thinking of you and here's something I thought you would find helpful. It could also be a check-in like, hey, when we wrapped up, you were still working on these goals. How are those going for you? How's your progress going? Can I support you in any way? Here's how you could continue working with me, or here's how you can book a check-in session with me. This leads me to the next part, booking a check-in session. I see a lot of times, and you might see this as well, I'll be working with a client and because we're working so closely and so deeply together, they get all this amazing momentum. But then once they're flying solo and they're not talking to me on a regular basis, they start to lose that focus. They start to get shiny objects. They start to get distracted and they might even fall off course. So if you have ever seen this happen for some of your clients, that's why following up and maybe having a check-in session could be so incredibly helpful. So a quick check-in session, this could be something you offer paid or free. It's totally up to you. But a quick 15-minute phone call could be enough for them to realize, yeah, I was doing great when I had your accountability and support, and I'm really kind of struggling to do that on my own. Let's re-engage. Let's start working together again. So I absolutely love having those quick check-in sessions. Another thing you might think about is giving past clients what I call VIP status. I tell all my clients that have worked with me privately, once you're a client, you're always a client. You can always come back and, shoot me a quick email and ask questions. You can book a check-in session and I tell them exactly how they can do that. When we wrap up, here's how you can book a one-time check-in session, which is a paid session for me. But I also give them first dibs on pretty much everything. So if I'm getting ready to open up something new, if I'm getting ready to kick off a CEO retreat or fill up a mastermind program, they are the first ones that I'm going to send personalized emails to because they're the ones who have experienced my work the most. So I give them that VIP status. I give them first dibs on any new thing that I am working on. And it's no surprise that when I go to fill up a mastermind, when I go to fill up an event, my past clients who I gave that VIP status to are usually the first ones to book, the first ones to get excited about it. So I think that's really, really important. You let them know, hey, here's a personal note just from me to you, letting you know about what's coming up. You're the first to hear about it before I send out the public announcement on this date. That gives them that incentive, that lets them know you care. And also, if you tell them when the public announcement is going out, lets them know why they should book now to start working with you again instead of waiting. You could also add a little VIP bonus. Now, something I love about working with former clients is it's so much easier. It really is so much easier because you already know them. You already know how they work. You already know their goals. You already know where they're going. You already know how, you really know how the relationship is going to work and feel. And that's a huge advantage over a brand new client. So it's actually easier for me to work with somebody again. And in fact, I would say it saves a lot of time up front because I'm not having to do so much research and so much getting to know them. So what can I do knowing that I'm, getting a big bonus myself working with a former client? You can offer them a bonus, something to encourage them to sign up. Now, I don't love discounts per se, but I do love offering some sort of special bonus. So maybe it could be an extra bit of time with you. It could be a done for you component that you add into your work together. Whatever that extra little bonus is, something that will help them get to those results even faster, that could be a great incentive for them to say yes and book with you again. Next, create alumni-only offers. And this really goes to those of you who are working in groups. Again, maybe you have a group training, a group certification, an online program, a group course. Generally, I tend to avoid looking at making all new offers when I'm thinking this way, when I'm thinking I need clients and cash flow quickly, just because new offers are actually a lot more work than we think. There's a lot that goes into creating and then marketing them and then running them. I tend to like to go with something that's already tried and true, that I know how it's going to work. But if you've built a solid client base, give them an opportunity to work with you again, right? So you might have a new alumni only program or service. Maybe they need just additional support. Maybe you need accountability ongoing. This could be something you offer to your group that is only available to your group. It's not something that you offer to the general public. And it doesn't have to be complicated. I often find after a lot of training, usually people mostly want that support and accountability in a smaller setting where they can get my eyes on their progress. Okay. I hope you guys are loving these strategies. We have so many more to go into, but I'm really hoping that you are getting ideas about how you can start getting those clients into your business very, very quickly. So the next one is to ramp up your referrals. Now, let me ask you, when you have a question and you're looking for somebody to help you with something, where do you go to find that person? I know our neighborhood, the neighborhood we live in currently, we have a little neighborhood Facebook group. And every day in the neighborhood Facebook group, people are posting, hey, we need a new roof. Who do you recommend? Hey, we need to get mulch for our garden. Who do you recommend? Hey, we have to get some trees cut down. Who do you recommend? Has anyone worked with this person? What was your experience? Does anybody want to go in on this together so that we can get a better deal? So it doesn't matter if you are, like me, an online entrepreneur, if you're a local business owner, word of mouth is still the gold standard, and people still sign up based on the referrals of their friends, their family, their peers, their colleagues. In fact, there was a conversation in my mastermind group not too long ago, and people were asking, hey, how do you decide if you're going to hire somebody? And hands down, the biggest way people in my group, my peer group of entrepreneurs, said that they were going to hire designers or photographers or brand strategists or videographers or whoever they were looking to hire came down to referrals. So you really can't discount the power of great referrals. So how can you get them, especially if you haven't been getting them very often? It comes down to asking for the referrals, right? So ask your clients. If you haven't been getting referrals from your clients on a regular basis, then chances are you just haven't asked enough. And this is one thing that can feel challenging because we have to realize not everybody is the same. Some people don't naturally refer a lot, but then you find what I call those super connectors, those people who love making connections and referring people to one another. If you have a client who's a super connector, you probably already know because they've already sent you referrals, and you want to put a big star by their name. You should know your biggest referral sources. I know I have one client who worked with me in, I'm going to say 2012. And over the years, she's probably sent me dozens of referrals, either people to work with me one-on-one or people to join my group program. So that is incredible, right? One person who maybe worked with me, I think at the time she might have spent a few $1,000s on coaching, and she's probably sent me tens of thousands of dollars of business and new clients and referrals. So you have to really make sure that this is a strategy you're thinking about. So how can you ask your clients? One is to ask new clients. Now, I know this might feel weird, right? You're asking somebody, they just signed on, they haven't really done anything yet, they haven't gotten a result yet. But here's what I want you to remember. Those new clients you're booking, they are super engaged and they're excited to start their journey. In a lot of industries, that excitement can easily lead to new clients. I want to share an example here. My brother-in-law is a personal trainer. And what is amazing is he just went off on his own about, I want to say half a year ago, no, maybe 6 to 9 months ago. And what started happening is he invited his friends or his friends to come work with him. And then once he got them in, he said, hey, you should invite he got a woman in, you should invite your husband to come work out with us. It would really help you, and he could use it too. Suddenly, they had more than just him as a support system. They were in it together. And when you're looking at a lot of our fields, health, wellness, personal development, these growth areas, asking new clients to have someone join them could be a great way to get them even better results. In fact, my friend Lisa Keeker says she often asks new clients right at the beginning of the program, like as soon as they sign up, she asks them to give referrals and offers an incentive. Like if their referral comes and signs up, they'll get an additional session, or they'll get some extra little perk as a result of signing up to work with you. You can also ask current clients. So do you have a current client who is just, killing it? They're just knocking it out of the park. They're having big win after big win after big win. That is the perfect time to let them know how much you love working with them, how excited you are about their progress, and would they have any other peers, friends, family, whoever, who would like to see these kind of results. Again, here's a big hint, you guys. In a lot of our work, once our clients start getting those big results, people are asking them about it. Their marriage is turned around, people are asking about it. Their kids are suddenly behaving better. Their playmates, friends, moms are asking about it. They're suddenly in the best health of their life. People are asking about it. So you need to help them know what to say and how they can send people your way. So think about the people who are getting big wins with you right now and give them an incentive to invite their friends, their family, their colleagues to come work with you. Another thing you might do is ask your past clients. So this is another reason to stay connected to past clients. They could become a huge source of referrals. Like I said, I have a client I worked with in 2012, and she still brings me clients to this day. She still recommends me. She still sends people my way, and it's absolutely incredible. So you want to make sure that you're taking care of those past clients, especially those who are referral sources, and you're following up with them and letting them know what else is coming up, because they want to support you. So if you have a big promotion coming up in the next couple of months, you say, hey, I'm going to call so-and-so, tell them all about what I have going on, and maybe offer an incentive for her to invite people. Tell her who I'm looking for, tell her exactly what this program or service is all about, and ask if she knows anybody off the top of her head who this could benefit, or if she would be interested in sharing this with her network. That can be just incredibly, incredibly helpful. So thinking of network, I'm going to take a sip of water here. I've been talking really fast for you guys. Thinking of your network, this is so important. And I'm not just talking about like your professional network. That's important too. But I'm thinking of your more personal network, your family, your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues, your former college classmates, your Facebook friends. You know more people than you think you do. But do those people know about your business? Do they know about your business? Chances are they don't. And I see this over and over again. Somebody will start a business and they're kind of timid and quiet about it. Like no one in their life, unless they're like super close friends, but no one really knows that they've started this new thing on the side. And as a result, they don't get the traction that they really could if they had the support of all of their network. So what could you do to go out there and let your network know about what you do these days? Well, one of my favorite things to do is called sending a business announcement email. Business announcement email. And I think this is something a lot of people overlook, but I actually love this strategy. And in fact, I teach it in my program, Get More Clients. I have a template that people take and send out all the time. A business announcement email is literally an email that you send out to your network, letting them know what you're up to these days, what you're excited about, how they can support you, and not necessarily asking them to become clients, but asking them to connect you with potential clients, asking them to connect you with people who are looking for the type of work that you offer. So when my college friends were out there sending out engagement announcements and wedding announcements and baby announcements, I was sending out all of my business announcements. I was wanting to connect with everybody, let them know I had left corporate consulting. I was going off on my own to do consulting with small businesses. And it was a great way for people to suddenly go, oh, cool, I know people you should know, and start bringing in more referrals really, really quickly. Another thing you can start doing, aside from sending out a business announcement, is just showcase your business on a regular basis. Again, this is something I see, especially newer entrepreneurs, they kind of hide away and don't really share what they're doing in their business. Showcase what you're up to and give a call to action, especially if you're getting great client success stories. So when your clients are getting big wins, share their stories. Your network doesn't really know what you're doing, or this can happen sometimes too. Maybe they don't really get what you do. They don't understand what you do. Maybe it's not something they're super familiar with. So by sharing case studies and sharing testimonials and sharing stories of, hey, I just worked with this amazing client, this is where we got together, that will help people see how you get results for other people. And you always follow those up with, you want to learn more about this? Here's how you can get on my calendar or book a session or whatever the call to action is. You can also ask your business BFFs for those referrals. So who in your entrepreneurial circle works with a similar audience or potentially knows your dream clients? Often a quick email to your biz BFFs with specific details about who you're looking for, that can lead to quick referrals. That can lead to an email introduction to somebody they might know that they think you should know. And finally, reconnect with your top referral sources. Like I said, if you don't know your top referral sources, you need to sit down and think about who sends me people on a regular basis. Write their names down. I guarantee you'll come up with a few. And I keep these people in front of my mind all the time. I'm always thinking about how can I support them? How can I connect with them? So I tend to love this idea. Jada Selner shared this with me. She loves to send audio or video love notes to past clients and close friends who know her work and tell them that she has an opening and ask if they would make a personal email introduction to the people they think would be a good fit. When she describes her coaching offer, sometimes her friends will ask if they can apply too. I love that. It's so incredibly simple. It's just reaching out to the people that already know, like, and trust us, that have that relationship, and ask them if they know somebody who's a perfect fit for that. Okay, we are getting close to the end of these 25 lessons. And this next group is something that I know I have struggled with in the past. And so you're not alone on this. Following up can feel hard, right? Especially because hearing no is something that happens a lot when you're an entrepreneur. You're out there having conversations with people, you're booking those free consults, and you're going to hear a lot more no's than yeses. It's just statistics. You're going to hear a lot of no's, especially in the beginning. And sometimes what will happen is someone will reach out, they'll apply to work with you, they'll, request a session with you. They're obviously interested, but somehow they decline moving forward, or something has come up and they can't say yes right now. Over the years, I have learned that no doesn't mean no forever, right? It just means not right now. So maybe the timing is off. Maybe the investment is a little higher than they expected and they need to make that part of it happen first. Maybe they just aren't ready. They realize they need to do some other work before they're ready to work with you. So with some thoughtful follow-up, you can turn those not right nows into yes, let's do this, okay? So how could you make that work for you? One, give those people first dibs. If you have been offering free consults, if you have been having conversations with people, a lot of my Sweet Spot strategists do a challenge we call the 100 Conversation Challenge. If you have had conversations with people and they are really interested in what you are about, those are the hottest potential clients of all the people you have access to. People on your social media, people on your email list, people who you've talked to are going to be the hottest potential clients, the ones that are the most likely to say yes. So if they've already talked to you in some way, before you publicly announce spots are available to work with you, reach back to them. Reach back to them and let them know, hey, I'm opening a few spots and I wanted to make sure that I reached out to you first because we had such a great conversation about XYZ. Bonus points here, if you really customize the email. I always flip through my notes because I keep notes on everything. And I'll say something like, hey, we spoke a few months ago. You were feeling really overwhelmed with this and maybe feeling like you were getting a little burned out with your business and wanted to get back on track so that you can have more balance between your business and your life. And is that still your biggest goal? If so, I wanted to let you know I'm opening up a couple sessions and I wanted to give you first dibs because I know that you really wanted to spend more time with your kids and less time in front of your laptop. Let me know if you'd like to get started ASAP, and I'll be glad to book you in my calendar this week. Simple, right? Like just a quick little email follow-up to let them know you're giving them first dibs. You can also give them an irresistible incentive. So sometimes just sweetening up that offer a little bit will get people off the fence. And again, I said this before, I am not a fan of discounts, but I really love the idea of adding a valuable little bonus if they decide to book with you right now. So this is something that could be really simple, and it's not about adding something that's not valuable or useful, but ideally something that's related to maybe an objection they're having, a reason why they haven't said yes quite yet. Is there something else you can add in there, another level of service you can add in there that would make it easier for them to say yes? Okay, so following up is super important. The next thing is a little controversial because I'm going to break some of my own rules right now. You know, I talk all the time, and I talked the last show about the importance of having a high value offer. And I really love that approach in general because it works. You know, it really works in building a business long term. But if you're looking at a situation where you're going to be, you know, working at a really high level with people, sometimes it's a really big ask. Right? If it's going to cost thousands of dollars or even tens of thousands of dollars for somebody to work with you, then it's a big, big ask. And you really want someone to feel confident in making that big of an ask. So that's one reason I really encourage all of my clients to show their best work, right? To do a lot of content marketing, to be showing up like I am right now, sharing their expertise, because it builds that relationship and people know, like, and trust you. They're more likely to feel confident in saying yes to working together. But when you need new clients and you need that cash flow to come in quickly, the best one to show that value is to go high touch, right? To get them on the phone and to have conversations as quickly as you can. So how could you do this? One is to just do a free session marathon. Even if you haven't done free sessions in a while, I know it's been ages since I've done them, but I remember not too long ago, my dear friend Lauren Fritsch had kind of stalled in her coaching business. And she felt like, I'm losing my mojo. I can't seem to get clients. I don't know what's happening. And so I said, you know what? I challenge you. It was in the middle of the summer. I said, I challenge you to have 100 coaching conversations and see how that goes. Just offer free coaching to anybody who'll get on the phone with you for 20 or 30 minutes. And so she started putting it out there. She started getting these free conversations, and she didn't even make it to 30 before her client docket had filled up again and her calendar was filled. It was like, it just brought new life into her business. So she did the same things we've been talking about. She reached out everywhere she could, said, hey guys, I'm doing a coaching marathon this month. Anybody who wants to get on a call with me, here's how you do it. And boom, suddenly she was getting these free calls converting into great clients. So even if this isn't a regular part of your marketing strategies, you know, adding them in for the short term can be a great way to get highly interested potential clients on a call. And especially if they're people who have been maybe hesitant to say yes and join your programs or join your, you know, working with you in some way, it's a great way for them to ease their nerves and feel like, yes, this is the right coach for me. This is the right decision. Another thing I like is something my brand strategist, Sarah Uncalmo, did. And I loved how she approached this. Because she's a brand strategist and the work she does at Public Persona, her branding strategy company, is so boutique and so high end, it was honestly very nerve-wracking for me, knowing that this was going to be a huge investment to work with somebody like Sarah on my branding. So making 5-figure investments it's scary, right? So it's important to acknowledge that. And I love that she knows that. She knew that it was scary, and to do the entire thing was a big ask. So she actually broke it up, right? She broke up her entire process into a few different sessions. She started with what is like a smaller process called privé. And then next was, or she started with the strategy session. So a one-time branding strategy session. Then she had a process she called privé, where you come out with your brand inspiration all pulled together, all the colors, all the fonts, all the typography, all the logos, et cetera, et cetera. And then finally, she had the implementation piece, where she actually came down to Richmond, Virginia, and did a full and styled a full photo shoot for me, oversaw the new website, et cetera, et cetera. So she broke it up. And by breaking up a big process into smaller pieces, it allowed me to get started and build that confidence, because it was such a big ask. It was making me nervous, pushing me up against my own inner limits, inner critic here. She allowed me to build that confidence step by step. So I love that idea. If you have a big process and it's a big ask, could you break it up and have like the strategy session up front before taking them through the rest of the process? All right, we are on to the final group of ideas here for you. And this is one of my favorites. So hosting a workshop. I knew early on, in fact, before I left corporate consulting and came, to start my own business, I learned really early on that teaching was my best sales strategy. My best way to get out there and get new clients and to make things happen was to teach. So when I started my business, my first clients came from teaching seminars at local business organizations. They came from hosting what I call lunch and learns for local entrepreneurs, local entrepreneur groups, local meetups, and teaching workshop after workshop after workshop. And I leverage that same concept these days with my on-demand masterclasses, including one that's running right now called Fill Your Client Docket. So teaching workshops is one of my favorite get more clients strategies, because it allows you to really leverage your time and accelerate that relationship building process. And in fact, I created a whole bonus training in my Get More Clients program just about how to leverage a workshop into filling your private client docket, because it just works so well. So the most important part about doing workshops is having that clear follow-up process. I highly recommend, if you're going to do workshops, whether they're online or in person, you want to make sure you have a way to follow up with each person, to interview or to schedule a one-on-one conversation, and then invite them to take that next step to work with you in your programs or services. So how could this work for you? One, host an in-person workshop. So it could be free, it could be paid. In-person workshops are a fantastic way to meet potential clients, to deliver incredible value, to offer a logical next step to working with you. I always follow up with each single workshop participant with an invitation to get on the call with me. That's one of the best ways to start having qualified conversations with people who are actually ready to make things happen. Because they've already had some experience with you, they have a better idea of what to expect, so they're potentially a great client for you. The best thing about doing these different types of workshops, by the way, is you don't have to fill them yourself. You can take these other strategies we just talked about. You can get referrals. You can have your best clients invite people who would be a great fit for this workshop. You can invite former clients to these workshops and let them help you fill these types of workshops. You could also host what I call a lunch and learn. So when you think about a workshop, it's usually an hour or two. It's a bigger deal, but maybe you don't have that kind of time. I used to love hosting these little lunch and learn workshops where they were, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, literally over lunch. And these are something that you can put together really, really quickly and easily. You do not have to make them expensive. In fact, it could be, you could call them, I know some people call them brown bag workshops, where people bring their own lunches to the workshops. You could have them at a restaurant and call a restaurant and find a private room where you could host a workshop. Usually if you're have people eating there, they don't charge you for that. So that can always be great. But those lunch and learns are a great way to quickly get to know people, share some great insight and information, and then invite them to book a call with you. You could also co-host a workshop. This is another tip that is so valuable. The fastest way to get clients is to have other people bring them to you. So when you co-host a workshop, you're actually looking out to other people who could collaborate with you and bring their audience to you. So I love this idea because it's a great way to really leverage your network, to leverage your connections. You could host also a workshop in person or online. And those of you who haven't tested doing things online, it's really great. And the best part about doing something online is now people who might not have been able to physically leave a space to meet with you, they can meet with you from anywhere. They can join you for a workshop sitting on their sofa at home. So that's one of the things I love about online is it eliminates any, well, I can't leave right now, it's too far for me to drive, et cetera, et cetera. It really makes it easy for people to plug that into their calendar. You could also co-host an online workshop, so co-host a webinar. Nearly every strategy I've shared can be amplified if you go out there and co-host it with other people, get in front of other people's audiences, get introduced to other people's friends, family, colleagues, et cetera, et cetera. And then once you get these workshops ironed out, you can put those on autopilot. Now, this is something I love. If you have had a successful workshop or an successful online workshop where you get results out of it, you've hosted this workshop and you're getting applications for consult calls, you do this workshop, you're getting people signing up for sessions with you, then making it available again and again is a great way to make your business pick up very, very quickly. So if you had a successful workshop, schedule the next one or record it and make it on demand. That's something that I do a lot in my business, and I absolutely love it because it really puts all the work that I've done to work for me. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Did you get any ideas for how you can start generating some new clients very quickly in your business? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I will pop in after we wrap up here. But if you want to know more about how you can get more clients and the exact way that I go about this process, I'd love to invite you to check out this master class. It's called How to Get More Clients and Fill Your Calendar Stat. You can sign up over at rachelcook.com/webby. And this is an on-demand masterclass that I have created to walk you through the exact system that I have used for over 10 years, that I have taught to hundreds and hundreds of amazing entrepreneurs to fill their calendar with dream clients incredibly quickly. So I hope you go over and check that out. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are loving this series, I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below what has been your favorite episode from the Get More Clients series. We have one more episode coming your way. Next week, I'm going to talk all about what to do if your calls just aren't converting into clients, because we want to make sure that if you're doing all this work to get people to have a conversation with you, that they're actually signing up and saying yes. So next week, we're going to troubleshoot some of that with you. I hope that today's episode was helpful for you, and I can't wait to see you next week. Take care.